Do not fear anything, even though the mountains be removed, even though the mountains shake, even though you be put in the midst of the sea. With all these kind of things, right? Do not fear, because God is your refuge and your strength. Greetings once again and welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you do not miss when a new video pops up, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, that you are now available on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, as well as on Amazon Music, and you can be sure to follow us as well on those 6 different platforms. Now, also keep in mind, guys, that you are now available on YouTube, and this is to the podcast team. You can find us on YouTube at Ashley Jarera, and you can be sure to follow us as well on that platform. Now, today, guys, we are going to be speaking about the 5 important lessons that you probably missed from the book of First Kings. Right? Before we go into Second Kings, let us just look at the 5 important lessons that you might have missed from the first book of First Kings, from chapter 1 until the end of it, right? And that is what we are going to be talking about today. So to find out more, stick around. Now, for lesson number 1, guys, we are going to be talking about the habit of going the extra mile. Guys, I cannot stress how important this is, right? And we say that do not just be satisfied by just doing the bare minimum, right? And think that, okay, I've done this, I'm going to stop right here. But we said, okay, once you've done the bare minimum, also go to level 2 and go to level 3 as well, right? Do not just do one thing here and say, you know what, I think I'm content with these things. I've now done what it is that I'm supposed to do. And we said, no, guys, do not just have that mindset, but have a mindset of saying, you know what, now that I've done this, I'm also going to do this, and I'm also going to go to the other one, right? And we talked about how Solomon did not just sacrifice 10%, 20%, but he also went to the extra mile of offering 1,000 burnt sacrifices, right? And this is what we talked about on that episode. Now, if you have not watched it, I'll leave the link right here so that you'll be able to watch it, right? So, according to that, guys, I'm not going to put other lessons that we learned from the life of Solomon, because I made a playlist, right? So instead of putting what the going the extra mile was about, right, I'll just put the whole entire playlist from the life of Solomon that you might have missed. But we said, guys, make sure that you always go the extra mile in whatever discipline you're involved in, right? Do not just do the bare minimum. For anyone can do the bare minimum. But if you want to rise, if you want to make sure that you always go aim for the stars and you always go to the next level and to the next level and to the next level, we say that make sure that you don't just do the bare minimum. Do more than what you get paid to do. But also apply the extra work. By doing the extra mile, guys, it does not just mean that this is going to be an easy thing. No. It requires work. So the work that you put in, make sure that it takes you from one level to the other one and to the other one. And that's what we talked about on the first lesson, about the lessons that you might have missed from the life or from book of Kings. Now, for the second one, guys, we talked about which voice are you listening to today, right? Which voice are you listening to? Now we jumped and now we all the way, and there was a prophet of God, right, who then was given a message by God, and God says, go but not turn back. But then another prophet came and told him, no. God said you should actually go back and eat and drink. And we said, which voice are you listening to today, right? And the main question there was that, you know what, instead of just listening to this, have a mind, have a spirit of discernment. And how do you have that spirit of discernment? You pray and you ask God to give you the spirit of discernment. It is not something that you acquire of your own. No, guys. It is God who gives you that. So you also go to God and you ask Him for the spirit of discernment to know which voice in a world where there's so many voices going on, where everyone is fighting to have an opinion of you. Everyone wants to have something to say about your life. But we say that in this instant, which voice are you listening to? Let us listen to the voice of God. For God says that His plans are not to destroy you. His plans are also to give you an expected end. And that's what we talked about on that episode. Now, if you have not watched that, I'll leave the link right here so that you will be able to watch it. Now, for the third lesson, guys, we say that what you speak about your life is what your life will become. And we say that your words have power to create your reality. And we looked at the life of Elijah when he said that there's not going to be rain nor dew upon the land. And we said that had he not said those things, right? Had he not said those things, the rain and dew was still going to continue to come on the land. And we said that the only reason why there was no longer dew was because of the words that you spoke. And we said, guys, let us not speak negative words about our lives. Let us rather speak positive things, right? When you speak positive things, it also creates a new environment for yourself. When you speak positive things as well, guys, it also creates a new reality for yourself. And we said that let us watch our words. For the Bible even says that the tongue has power to destroy or to build as well. So rather, let us watch what we say about our lives. Do not just say negative things and talk down on yourself and say, I can't do this. Other people are blessed. I don't have the skills. I don't have the abilities. And we said, guys, no, don't do that. But rather speak positively about your own life. Now, if you have not watched that episode, I'll leave the link right here so that you will be able to watch it. But keep in mind, guys, do not just say negative things about your life. For what you say is what your life will eventually become. Now, on lesson number 4, we say that every knee will bow down to this name. Now, to look at the context that we're talking about, we were saying that there was a prophet of Baal and there was also Elijah who was standing for God. And we say that which name is going to make everyone to bow down? Is it the name of Ronaldo? Is it the name of Mercy? Right? Is it the name of who else? Who else is famous, guys? Is it anyone who is famous? Is it your prophet? Is it a bishop? Who is it? Is it the president himself that is going to make everyone to bow down? And we established, guys, that it is not any of those people that are going to make everyone to bow down. But we say that it is the name of God. God is the one that is going to end up making everyone else to bow down in the end. And we said, choose you this day whom you will stand for. Are you going to stand for the one that only a portion of people are going to bow down for? Or are you going to stand for the one that everyone is actually going to bow down for? So we say that in the end, that make sure that you choose the right choice. And that is still the same message we'll bring in today, that make sure that you choose the right choice. Now, if you have not watched that episode, I'll leave the link right here so that you will be able to watch it. But keep in mind, guys, every knee will not bow down to a bishop. Every knee will not bow down to some celebrity. Every knee will not bow down to some soccer player. But every knee will bow down to the name of the Lord. So make the right choice and choose wisely who you are going to serve. Now, on lesson number 5, guys, we say that God does not work with common sense. Yes, we said God, common sense, he does not work with that. And we say that he actually works with what you say, right? What you ask from him. And we looked at the life of Elijah, and we say that when Elijah was now running away from Jezebel and all of that, right? God then appears to him and asks him, what are you doing here? Not because God did not know what he was doing there, but because God was asking so that Elijah himself could speak about his situation. And we also brought it back to us, guys, and we say that what situation are you involved in today? That you're thinking to yourself, you know what, God, you know these things. I don't even have to tell you. And we said, no, sometimes you don't have to do that. You have to tell God what it is that you want in your life, right? And we also say that you have to talk to God and tell him, this is my situation, this is what I'm going through, this is what I want, or this is what I aspire to be, this is where I want to go. And you tell God all those things. And you don't tell God, and you don't just get there and you say what? Deal with common sense, you understand, and all of that, guys. And that is what we talked about on that episode. Now, if you have not watched it, I'll leave the link right here so that you'll be able to watch it. But keep in mind, guys, God does not work with common sense. Make your request known unto him. For if it was not in that case, if God worked with common sense, then he wouldn't have told you today to say that whatever it is that you want, if you ask in my name, you wouldn't even have to ask, because he will just definitely know what it is that you want, right? So that's why there is that request to say that if you ask, right? Not that he doesn't know, but if you ask, that it is that which you know and which he knows as well, but you have to ask in his name, right? And he shall do it. It also says that ask and you shall receive. So that is the end of it all, guys. But also, guys, this is just a snippet of everything, guys. Now I've created a playlist specifically for you guys, because guys, I want you to watch and understand, from lesson 1 until the last lesson that we had in the book of Kings. It was such an exciting time. We learned about leadership, we learned about other gods. We learned about how you can advance your prayer life. Imagine, guys. Who knew that you could advance your prayer life? Who knew that you could also go the extra mile? Who knew about strange men, strange women, and all those other things, guys? And we talked about it in all those other episodes. Now I've created a playlist for you so that you will be able to go back and view which one is it that you missed, so that you might end up catching up before we go into the book of 2 Kings, right? Which we're then going to start dropping from tomorrow onwards, right? So, but for today, guys, keep in mind that follow all these things, the habit of going the extra mile. Make sure don't just do the bare minimum. Now for the second one, which voice are you listening to? Are you listening to the voice of God, or are you listening to the voice of man? Choose you this day which voice you're going to listen to. The third one, guys, what you speak over your life is what your life will become. Be careful of the words that you say, for your words create your reality. Now lesson number 4 says that every knee will bow down to this name. Which name are you bound down to today? Keep in mind, it is not the name of a prophet, a celebrity, a bishop, or some singer or whatever that is going to make everyone bow down, but it is the name of the Lord. So choose you this day whom you want to bow down to in the end. And in the end, guys, we say that God does not work with common sense. Make your request known unto him, right? For he says, through prayer and supplication, make your request known unto him, and he shall do accordingly to what you are asking for. So make sure that you do not just say, God, you understand, but make sure he knows what it is that he should understand. And that is the end of our message for today. May God add a blessing to your life. Is it because there is no God that you've now relied on other forms and other people to be the one that solve your problems? Is it because that there is no God?